When done right, boss fights are climactic, cathartic experiences that pit you against an enemy you've been longing to face for ages. Such as when Snake confronts the boss at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3, or when Conker finally confronts the Great Mighty Pooh in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I am going to throw my at you.
Can games be art? You tell me. There's another kind of boss fight though, which builds up a significant enemy, only to have the actual confrontation be an anti-climax so disappointing you wonder why everyone involved bothered in the first place. See for yourself in these disappointing boss fights that derail the hype train faster than a hype obstruction on the hype tracks. Enjoy, and beware some spoilers ahead for the following games.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a difficult game in which you never know what to expect. One minute you're in mortal combat with heavily armed samurai, the next, oh I don't know, ambushed by ghost dogs? Point being, you never know what brutally tough challenge is waiting for you just around the corner, and it is with this sense of trepidation and your head on a swivel that you'll creep into the eerie hidden forest area of the game. It's easy to get turned around in the ghost-filled mists of the forest, but there is one landmark you can't help but stumble upon, an imposing temple from within which emanates the haunting sound of a flute. It's impossible to tell from here what lurks within the temple, but if you've played Sekiro Shadows Die Twice enough to get to this point, you'll know it's going to be extremely painful. So you maybe take a moment to cancel your evening plans before proceeding through the forest, grappling your way through the damp and the mist, working your way up towards the roof, hiding when you can, killing when you must, until at last your journey brings you to an opening in the temple itself, and to the source of that haunting flute. Behold the Mist Noble, an ancient, tendril-covered, non-optional Sekiro boss that requires 2 separate death blows to kill, which are facts that, to be honest, make this boss fight sound a lot more dramatic than it actually, you know what, see for yourself. Yes, that really is it. After all the build-up, the Mist Noble dies in seconds. There's no trick, no secret second phase, just an extremely rare example of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice doing you a favour with a massively easy and underwhelming boss fight. Cheers, game. Bring on the next boss. The natural order has been re-established.
Anyone who's seen Goldeneye will remember the film's most dramatic and powerful scene. Yes, the one where Alan Cumming gets frozen solid. But you might also remember the second most dramatic and powerful scene, which of course is at the very end of the movie, where James Bond is hurled into a climactic fight with his hated nemesis and traitor to the crown, Alec Trevelyan, aka 006, leading to a perilous mid-air punch-up on a tiny bit of a satellite dish that ends with Trevelyan asking, "For England, James?" and Bond saying, "No, for me," just before the killing blow. Oof. Memorable stuff. So you can imagine the excitement players of the N64 adaptation of Goldeneye would have felt going into Cradle, the game's final level, and your opportunity to put a blocky version of Alec Trevelyan into the world of hurt in which he belongs. Now imagine the disappointment when it turns out the game's version of this iconic fight is less a man-to-man brawl and more shooting Alec Trevelyan a very great many times in the bum as he sprints rapidly away from you. Your job is to pursue the erstwhile British agent in laps around the cradle, owning him with twin machine guns when he occasionally stops running to deliver an unvoiced quip, or pelt unpredictably around the map like a frightened bee trapped in your car. The The developers at Rare were obviously working with limited hardware back in the day, but the unfortunate effect is that this chaotic final boss fight looks less like the deeply personal conclusion to an epic spy narrative and more like a team-building laser quest session at the MI6 training weekend in Bristol. Eventually, the frenetic chase does lead to the famous tiny platform you'll recognise from the film, where you'll deliver the killing blow. Nope, he shot us off the edge easily because there has never been a good ladder in a video game.
Looks like another victim of the identity thief. I need to scan the area to see if there are any more clues to his identity and whereabouts. The MO is the same as for the previous victim.
What's worse than being denied a boss fight that has been built up over the course of a whole game? Being denied a boss fight that has been built up over the course of 2 whole games. Early in Batman Arkham City, you can pick up a side mission called Identity Theft, in which a mysterious criminal has been stealing people's identity by cutting off their faces.
As with the others, the victim's face was removed pre-mortem with surgical precision.
Pretty sure sending a scam email would have been easier, and less messy. It turns out there's more to the story than that. When you track down the mysterious identity thief to his grimy apartment and he somehow gets the drop on you, it's revealed that he's trying to imitate someone in particular. Billionaire playboy and definitely not Batman, Bruce Wayne.
But you look just like Bruce Wayne.
In spite of this villain, Thomas Hush Elliot, wandering quite slowly off down the corridor and Batman easily escaping his trap, Bats decides not to pursue Hush, presumably deciding that he's got quite enough on for one sequel.
Are you going after him?
He's gone. He's left Arkham City.
Left Arkham City? You could probably catch up with him if you run. Maybe even a light jog. So we have to wait for the next game, Arkham Knight, for a proper confrontation with Hush, when the true extent of his evil, Machiavellian plan for revenge against Bruce Wayne is revealed, walking into Wayne Tower and emptying Bruce's checking account. I'm telling you, Hush my dude, you gotta try a scam email. But when Batman shows up ready to probably literally rearrange Hush's face, it's not exactly the epic boss fight the 2-game build-up might have primed you for.
Now bring me Wayne.
Instead, you just have to press a single button, and all this just happens.
My face!
Wow, and that must have been a pretty solid desk too, because there's no way billionaire Bruce Wayne is settling for flat pack.
We'll ensure Mr. Elliot sees justice for his crimes when this is over.
Never would have happened with the scam email, is all I'm saying.
So fades the great harvest of my betrayal. Even these beasts recognize what you were oblivious to, human.
With its peerless gunplay, sci-fi spectacle, and trailblazing multiplayer, the Halo franchise does many things very well. But on the list of things Halo is not famous for, you will find memorable boss fights, right below properly showing you the face of John 117. That's what you get for finishing 4 on Legendary. Great, now we know Master Chief has eyes. Andy, you owe me a £5.
Oh, what?
Speaking of unmemorable boss fights and Halo 4, do you remember the final boss fight from Halo 4? If you answered no, understandable. If you answered yes, I assume you're still grumpy about it.
Didact knows I'm in the system. Hurry, go!
At the end of Halo 4, you finally come face-to-face plate with the Didact, the powerful ancient Forerunner warlord you've been struggling to stop all game.
Come at last.
Activity! Significant slip space event building under the composer.
He's powering it up.
It would be reductive to say the Didact is going to kill all humans because he actually plans on using the composer device to corrupt all humans into mechanical warriors called Prometheans, and you know what, in the interests of time, let's say he's going to kill all humans.
And yet, still you fail.
That's your motivation when you catch up with the Didact on a precarious light bridge to knock his ancient alien block off.
Come then, warrior. have your resolution.
But if you were warming up your trigger fingers to do a groundbreaking boss fight for the ages, you needn't have bothered, because you only had to sit back and witness a cutscene in which the Didact force chokes Chief off the edge of the bridge.
Humanity's imprisonment is a kindness.
And Cortana copy-pastes herself to save him.
Your compassion for mankind is misplaced.
I'm not doing this for mankind.
Oh, and now here's something for you to do. Time for you to hobble over and stuff a grenade in the Didact spacesuit. With that minimum of interactivity, the Didact stacks it off the light bridge and is defeated. And all that remains is for you to set up a quick nuke and be home for dinner. That's what you get for trying to kill all humans. Or whatever it is you were doing.
Ask anyone who the Incredible Hulk's greatest enemy is and they'll probably say non-elasticated pants. Ask them a second time, emphasising that you mean in terms of comic book villains, and consensus will likely be that it's the Leader, a former janitor who, like Bruce Banner, was exposed to gamma radiation. Unlike Banner, however, the radiation caused the Leader's brain to grow rather than his muscles. As a result, the Leader is the perfect foil to the Hulk, the brainy yin to his brawny yang, and without question, his greatest enemy and longest-standing foe. As such, it made perfect sense for the Leader to be the antagonist of the Incredible Hulk game for the SNES and Sega Mega Drive back in 1994. In the plot of the game, the Leader launches a world domination bid backed by an army of mutants and robots. Taking no chances, he also enlists the help of 4 other prominent members of the Hulk's rogues gallery: Rhino, Absorbing Man, Abomination, and Tyrannus, all of whom are formidable foes, even for the jolly Green Giant himself. So when you finally make it to the Leader at the very end of the game, you would be justified in expecting an epic confrontation between these 2 arch-rivals. What you get instead is a small green man with a big head laughing at you, who you can then knock into a hole with a single punch. Or if you're feeling particularly disrespectful, just shoot him when you're the totally unsuperpowered Bruce Banner. As if to make things worse, the game's ending cutscene then confirms that the Leader isn't actually dead, he just landed in an emergency shuttle, I guess. And is now escaping? Well, not on the Incredible Hulk's watch, buddy. Guess that's that then. Hulk smash! Expectations of satisfying boss fight. Hulk smash them good.
Of course. You're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? I can help you get it, but first, I must have your assistance. I need you to kill Arch-Curate Verther, my brother. The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew.
Answering the pleas of Skyrim fans around the world, 2012's Dawnguard DLC introduced a new storyline and allowed you to become a cool, sexy vampire.
That I offer.
Only not cool, and definitely not sexy. Clearly, these vampires need to be stopped, or at the very least, forced to put some trousers on. And in the penultimate quest in the DLC, you set out with your companion Serana in search of a magical artifact called Auriel's bow, that is held by someone called Arch-Curate Verther.
What about Auriel's bow? Do you know where we can find it? Then it's almost over. We can finally rewrite the prophecy as we see fit.
It's not going to be an easy task though. You're looking at well over an hour of dungeon crawling, most of which you'll spend killing horrible Falmer creatures. Or, more realistically, letting your friend Serana kill them all while you cower heroically in a corner. Hey, it's called delegation. Look it up. In a management book or whatever. Eventually, you catch up with Arch-Curate Verther, who it turns out is a survivor of the long-lost and heavily mythologized snow elf species, meaning the only thing higher than his cheekbones is his opinion of himself.
Did you really come here expecting to claim Auriel's bow?
I mean, that's what my quest log told me to do, so yes? The problem is, Verther's also a supernaturally strong vampire and an extremely powerful magic user, bringing waves of frozen enemies to life for a tricky battle and eventually tearing the roof off the place. And not in the fun we're having a great party way. But that's not enough to stop you, so you chase Werther to the balcony for a final confrontation, at which point you face off for a spectacular and challenging battle where all three of you throw everything you have at each other, in a boss fight that is as climactic as it is deeply, deeply satisfying. Or, and hear me out, you could just fuss row dime right off the balcony.
That'll teach you.
Add that one to the list of ways to kill a vampire. Stake to the heart, garlic, massive fall damage.
Please confirm destination, Shepard. The Reaper IFF is online, but there is a chance that the Normandy may not survive the Omega-4 relay. Once we are en route, we are committed.
The Collectors are about to find out what happens when you piss me off.
As you near the end of Mass Effect 2, when you've locked yourself into the final assault on the Collector base, everyone on Team Shepard understands the stakes couldn't be higher and the risks couldn't be greater. All the same, you do wonder if officially designating it Suicide Mission is bad for morale. But even if you don't expect to survive, you expect at least some kind of heroically epic boss fight, as you battle epically and heroically through swarms of alien bugs, some small, some big, some possessed by your current nemesis, the Reaper named Harbinger. As if you couldn't be more pumped up to kick down the door of the unknown final boss and give him what for, this is also when you come face to face with the horrifying answer as to why the Collectors have been kidnapping thousands of humans. Which is to liquidize them into a kind of organic slurry and then feed them into mysterious tubes.
Why are they doing this? What are they doing with our genetic material?
Well, Shepard, would you believe me if I told you they were pumping the liquefied humans into a big human-looking robot to help them kill more humans? You wouldn't.
Shepard, if my calculations are correct, the superstructure is a Reaper.
Not just any Reaper. Human Reaper.
Yes, the final boss of Mass Effect 2 is a giant space Terminator which, embarrassingly for the Collectors, is not yet ready for a fight.
This Reaper appears to be in a very early stage of development. An embryo in human terms.
Embryo or not, it's all you're getting by way of climactic confrontation. Therefore, you destroy it from your position on a nearby platform by shooting it in the slurry tubes. Surely there's a twist coming, you think, and you would be right, but only if you consider it a twist that this so-called human Reaper larva has just enough human juice left in him to climb back up and blast you with his mouth cannon. As your part in this exchange, you continue to shoot the big unfinished Terminator in his big Terminator eyes, while silently vowing to tell the elusive man you did something much cleverer. It is as unfancy as shooter boss fights come, and also really very short once you remember you have a mini nuke launcher strapped to your back that will carve off 2/3 of his health in one go, no matter how iffy your aim. So that's the final boss fight of Mass Effect 2 over, and you escaping the exploding Collector base before there's even time to get a selfie with the big dead unfinished Terminator embryo. Good luck trying to convince everyone back on Earth this was Harbinger's actual master plan, is all I'm saying.
You have failed. We will find another way. Releasing control.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video about disappointing boss fights. I tell you what won't disappoint, and that's either of these two fine videos, which you can carry on your YouTube journey by watching. So up here is something from us, one of our other videos, which are as good, if not better, than this one. Not better, as good. And down here is one from Outside Extra, who are almost as good. All right, they're just as good. They're good. Please watch them.